it went smooth for us apparently.
Yeah, it does.
Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Green Lake Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to order on June 12th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Judy, can you do a roll call, please?
Merrick,
Here.
Biondo,
Here.
McDonald,
Here.
Biganowski, Kramer here, West,
Here.
and Radke.
Here.
It works.
Okay, thank you. At this point in time, if you have any smart devices or any devices that make noise, could you please put them on vibrate
Maybe.
and or silent?
Maybe.
With that being said, please rise for the pledge. Thank you. The next item on our agenda would be the approval of the agenda. Does any board member have any additions, subtractions, changes to the agenda?
The only, item that we have is I passed out, there's one more budget amendment, that needs to be placed with, a budget amendments, and that's all I have.
Do we want to remove postponed business or not?
Yes, I read, the minutes from last month, and I was also watching it live in Washington DC. But the motion stated about J. Matty Parkway, Max's Place, if there was no action, Sherry would like it seen to be brought back to the board. And there was no action when we made the agenda. However, Saturday evening, they put a trailer in, and today they've been working on it, so there's been action, so, they're making it safe.
So remove the dangerous building. I'll make a motion with that amendment.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda with the removal of the dangerous building at 2796 J. Matty Parkway.
Second.
Seconded by West. Any discussion?
And to add the second.
And add to the, I'm sorry, yes.
Isn't that part of the?
Yeah, that was part of your motion. That's what she
That's what I meant.
started with.
Okay.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying an aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which contains minutes of 5/8/2023, treasurer's report, and bills. Is there any member of the board that would like anything removed? Any member of staff? Any member of the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
We got a motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Biganowski. Kramer, yes, West,
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes, motion carries. Next item on our agenda is reports. I don't see anybody from the road commission, or our community police officer. I do see Chief Case. Chief Case, we have your report in our packet. Is there anything in addition you would like to express to the board in detail?
I do. I have a couple more things. First thing I have, if I could have Mr. Merrick step out front. I'd like to make an official congratulations. I attended Andy's graduation a couple weeks ago, so congratulations on your firefighter 1 and 2. There's your bar, since I already have your badge, so congratulations. So Andy did successfully pass firefighter 1 and 2, so was added to the ranks in the firefighter capacity officially. We did have a large search and rescue last month, which acquired quite a few hours. We had, I think, a total of 3 staff members, and I think we had 3 paid on call come in and did a search and rescue here locally, and I think we were on scene 5 hours that evening, as well as the sheriff's department was there 2 hours prior to us. And probably come back in July for a presentation. After we left the initial time, and we were unable to find the gentleman, the sheriff's department was gonna come back with a drone after dark. We did fly our drone, However, with as much canopy was up, we were unable to find him. And a couple neighborhood kids that had been searching from the onset of the incident ended up coming upon him. And then Doug and I and the rescue crew got to carry him out of the woods on the stretcher. So that was a job well done, and I'm gonna talk to the young gentleman's parents to see if they would be good with that. I'll bring that back to the board probably next month. Deputy Knopke was helping me with that. We did have our first official outsider training in the training room, so we did do the Interlochen State Park, had them come down and did CPR, first aid, pediatrics for them. Joe Miracle and I did, so we did about an 8-hour training session in the training room, so we've officially have our first invoice going out for recouping a little revenues from the training room. So we just got our furniture last week, so now that it's official, we can have furniture in there now too, and we'll bring back what we borrowed. And the last thing I have is I do have, thanks to Mary Jo, some postcards they hand out to everybody, and I'll put the rest in the back for the open house that is scheduled for the 28th. So I think Mary Jo posted on the Facebook page, and I'll hand one of these out to everybody, and then the rest will be back on the table. So that's all I have.
Very good. Questions?
Does our drone have flare?
It does. It does, and we were able to, the interesting thing was we were able to catch, we had a lot of people out in the neighborhood. You guys might have saw a red alert was sent out. So if you were in proximity to the address where the gentleman walked away from, using the emergency manager or central dispatch, we can ping the area. So everybody that's got red alert in that area is notified, and people that are further out and it doesn't affect, they don't get the notice, but we did use that. And so we had a lot of neighbors out searching also, but we were able to pick up people in driveways and yards, but the canopy is so big right now. So when it was warmer out, the sun hitting the leaves doesn't give you a good contrast between the temperatures of, you know, the surface temperature of a leaf compared to your 98.6 body. So we were hoping the sheriff's department was gonna come out after dark when the temperatures dropped down some to see, and in that meantime, he was found. So we did fly it, but unsuccessful with that.
Any other questions? Bless you. Chief Case, members of the audience?
Perfect,
Very
thank
good.
you.
Thank you, Chief. The only other thing is, I'd like to report briefly, I'll keep it brief. For my absence last month, I was in Washington DC, held 9 meetings with our federally elected officials of the state. There was 4 elected officials from the MTA board that went, and we supported for rebuilding rural roads, protecting community television, reforming the broadband connectivity, and HR Bill 1814 for the Fire Station Act. We also pursued farm bills in regards to boosting broadband programs, and went as far as asking the Department of Ag, the Farm Bill, instead of grants, or instead of loans, low interest loans, if they could make a good portion of them grants. And also asked if the rural federal Department of Ag lower the standards of their definition of what is rural communities. They have a population of 200,000 or less defined as rural. So suffice it to say that any community up in this neck of the woods, I mean, Grand Rapids has 198,000, so that tells you something. Those other communities have enough staff on board to assist landowners of the ag and that to get grants, and they get the majority of the grants. So we asked if it could be lowered at least to 20,000. Even though the average size of Michigan Township in the state of Michigan is about 5,500. We also asked the volunteer reimbursement for mileage is set at 14.5 cents a mile, compared to the business mileage deduction of 65.5. So that's been impacting our volunteers driving for Meals on Wheels, Department of Veterans, driving for them and all that there. So we did make a request if that could be evaluated and why the large discrepancy. With that being said, that's, oh, and the other one is deny or to vote no on the Ship It Act, which allows unlimited weight for tractor trailers if they're electric vehicles. Yeah, so, and, not sure, we watched a video of, tractor trailer on fire and the decimation it causes to the roads, MDOT roads, state and federal highways, just destroys them, so we did make a request that they vote no on that. With that, that's my report. It was a busy few days in DC. I got my steps in. With that being said, any other questions? Okay, we'll move on to public comment. This is an opportunity for the public to say what's on their mind. We'd ask that it's limited to 3 minutes and that you come to the podium, state your name and address for the record. Does any member of the public wish to do so? Yes, sir.
Gregory Allen Caskey Jr., 11711 US Highway 31, Interlochen. I'd first like to start off by thanking the fire department for their putting out the fire across the street from me that we had. That was fun last week. Thank God the winds were gone. After that, I don't know if we can put it on the agenda next month or take a look at why we would stifle business in Green Lake Township. I was written a citation for running a business in an R1 residential. With the current times and the way things are run anymore, a lot of people are running businesses from their home, work for home, especially since, you know, our WU scare. Why my business was attacked would be an interesting discussion. I don't understand why anybody would attack a farm, period. Especially one that was established and running for 7 years prior to the discrepancy. Especially one that started with a problem that didn't exist, which was setback from the highway, which we didn't have a number for. We had to look up the number. I'm not a huge fan of problems, especially problems that don't exist. I don't know that this is over. I'm trying to figure that out. I think that there might be some case law to this. I'll have to do a little more investigating, but what happened to my family, I mean, my son's right there, that's my legacy. This farm is my legacy. What happened
Continue.
was ridiculous.
Yes. Any other public comment? Thank you, Mr. Caskey. Okay, we'll move on to, well, we removed postponed business. Next item in our board packet is the budget amendments, and a little precursor to reason why we have so many amendments to our budget. As you are well aware of, over the last couple of years, the Department of Treasury, Michigan Department of Treasury, has been ordering communities, municipalities to change their uniform chart of accounts, update them. And the clerk's office has put many hours into that, and each year the Department of Treasury says, oh, wait a minute, we don't have to do it quite yet, because we're refining our GAMS. Anyways, once the GAMS got changed over, the conversion that BSNA did from our old budget to the proposed budget left some fine-tuning issues out. There was some clerical errors, and there were some budget lines that did not carry over because they didn't correlate. And if you recall, we didn't have, we're waiting for the change over the uniform chart of accounts to establish the fire station account, so we had to wait for that. And I think Trent came in February. something like that, and did a lot of the adjustments and fine tuning of the budget. So what you see in front of you is a result of some of those conversion errors, I'll call them, in that regards there.
And accounts were set into different accounts.
Yes, we had Central Park Drive placed into our
Metro.
Metro account, you know, and those type of things, and those are restricted funds, so we spent some time going through there.
Who prepared the list, Trent or you guys?
Trent
I did.
and Judy did, with confirmation of Trent how to take care of some of this stuff. So with that being said, and some of the,
This is our first
Funds.
budget with the new chart of accounts, there shouldn't be any, if we set them initially, then why would there be a change?
we didn't, the new accounts weren't set last year, this year.
Yeah, we did it in midstream.
Yeah,
The conversion.
So money was going out of the general fund.
so.
It really belonged coming out of,
Yeah, so
This
some of the funds, we didn't have the fire fund there set up the draw fund, we didn't have the budget set, so we were paying it out of the general fund. So now that that's all said and done, it is time to, readjust those funds.
One of the other ones is Delta Dental. We set up Delta Dental after we'd done the budget, so there was not a number on there, so we need to fill that in. The other health insurance premiums went up mid-term. So that's another reason why we're, doing some updating on the health insurance premiums too. And by law, each budget item that we actually utilized and spent money out of has to have an approved amount in it. So most of the budget amendments are just putting those numbers in, that the conversion took out when they did the conversion.
And I realized there was a great amount, but going through it, and we wanted to make sure, as Paul said, we don't want any number in the red. I think you said that earlier. The Department of Treasury sort of frowns on that, so, before we expend monies out that goes over the budget centers, we looked at the remaining cost for the, 20 days when this was done, or 22 days. And we believe there's enough funds been put in so they don't go into red for each budget center.
So these are reflected in the copies that's sitting out here.
Not
yet,
the
'cause we
amendments.
can't put them in until we approve them.
Yeah,
Well, but that's not an approved budget either, so we can put it in there.
After
This is
after
for-
you approve the
this
amendments.
is for this
right?
year's budget, not the one we're, not the
Not
next
for the
year's.
current.
Oh, this is this year.
yes,
But
this is just
22,
for
23.
Just to get
But-
it ready for the.
23, 24 budget.
So, but the one on the table is 24,
Yes, that budget's good,
that reflects these,
yes,
okay.
yep.
Clarify that, what Dave just says. If these amendments are passed, then these are already in this budget, have been changed in this budget.
In the next year's budget.
Next
For
year's
next
No,
budget's
we
already
don't
been
care about
presented.
next year, we're looking at
You
this
can't
year's.
put it, we can't put them in this year until the board approves them.
Right.
They are done for the 23, 24 budget. This year approving for the 22, 23 budget,
Before we close it out.
before we close it
So
out.
then that would make this 22, 23 here incorrect, am I right?
The amended,
One we have now, yes, is incorrect until we do the budget amendments. 22, 23, we gotta make that right. And 23, 24 budget has all these amendments in there already.
Are you going to redo this budget again then with the correct ones and give us a new copy after the
Mhm.
Yeah.
fact? Because
Yeah.
we're just approving 23, 24 tonight, okay. I'm
So
ready.
one column changed, not the rest.
Correct.
correct.
Two, should be two, well,
The amended
yeah,
column.
just one, just the
I'll
amendment.
make a motion, we approve the budget amendment number 06122023.0 for the 2022-2023 budget year,
Don't you have to add the one she just put on?
including, that's, if you notice, it's got the same number.
Oh, 3 pages.
Yeah, we amended the agenda to include that.
Okay,
We have a motion by Merrick to approve the budget amendment number 06122023.0 for the 22-23 budget. That includes the budget that was laid upon the table this evening, or you received via email, or that. Is there support for said?
I'll second.
We have a support by Kramer. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Pat?
The second item on page one, 114,000, whatever is,
$114,148.67.
yeah, so is this coming out of our fire and ambulance, fund?
Yes.
It's currently at 998, 881. And where is it going? I can't find this cash checking
You
item.
don't have it on your budget, because that's the cash account, so that's going into the cash checking account.
The Fund 101 cash checking.
Is it gonna appear on our budgets at some time, or?
It never
Under
does.
fund balance.
It'll add to the fund balance, it'll impact the fund balance.
Okay. Then,
Then we're gonna add the additional $23,150.00 on top of that.
that was one of my next
Yep,
questions. yeah.
on top of that 148.67.
Right.
What this is, remember back before we did the conversion for the chart of accounts, we couldn't add or subtract, we couldn't add any new accounts in. So for the new fire station, dating back to 2018, we were actually paying funds out of that general checking account to pay the bills for the fire department. So what this does is this makes our general account correct.
All right, then, a little further down, a transfer of $687,325. Is that also coming out of the fire and ambulance fund balance?
Yes.
Okay. And then on page 4, the second one from the bottom, for $161,433. Where is that?
If you look at that number on the budget, you'll see that we spent money out of that account, but we did not approve anything. It isn't showing any money that was approved in the 22-23 budget. So this is just correcting that and putting that number in that particular area so that we have it covered, so that there isn't, we didn't expend money that we didn't approve.
So we're adding that number, that's brand new, right?
That's one of the new chart of account numbers, right, for
Yes.
this building.
That's one of them that we were using for the new fire station, the building fund, while we were building the fire department. And now it has since been closed, so this will complete that account so that moving forward, it's all done being used.
It's not being taken out of the building fund, it's being put into the payment fund from, the voted millage or voted
The
bond approval.
205 account.
Yeah. So we gotta learn the new accounts now,
All
numbers.
right, so the 205 is that our fire and ambulance?
Yes.
All right, so, I mean, it looks like we had a balance of just under $1 million, and we're taking out 800,000 from this account. That doesn't leave very much left.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, we figured with the fire station and everything, there would be a little over 400,000 left in that fund balance.
And that's what we anticipated back in the day, 'cause the station, the actual station cost is roughly 3.93 million. And we had fund balance that we allocated, for the new station and the Cornelli Trust Fund, which is later on in this agenda packet, that we put down, so that's why we went out for the $3.2 million bond, of which, out of that sale, we received $3.175 million. The difference went to Baker Tilly, I believe, for the bond sales.
All right, so we had the bond, and I guess, we assume we had a fund that held that money?
Yes, the
That was
construction fund, building fund.
Alright. And is that gonna be empty here pretty quick?
Yep, that's
Yep.
being converted over to the repayment.
That was
Alright.
part of that 600.
But none of these three items are coming out of that fund?
No.
Right. Let's see. On the page 2, third one down, we have $198,859. Where's that money coming from?
That's another one, we're just amending the budget to show that we had added that in, because there's that, if you look into the approved budget, it's blank from last year.
Yeah, so these 307s are now what, 205s?
The 307 is the debt retirement fund that we
Yes.
were that's kind of what we're using for the building fund.
Does this number represent revenue or expense?
It's gonna be in the, since it's a 000, it's gonna be a revenue.
Which will be expensed out when we have to make payments.
Mhm.
So this one would come from the millage?
No.
No.
This is just correcting the budget. The money's already been spent. You can see that the money's been spent in there,
Yes.
but we never approved that budget. We never approved to spend that money, because this account didn't exist. So now, this is just amending that to put that amount in there so that we don't get dinged from the state of Michigan.
Several of these accounts didn't exist until Trent came in and BSNA did the conversion.
Okay, but this money's gotta, we're sticking it in here to cover that part I get, but it's gotta come from somewhere,
Right.
which would be where?
Where's it coming from? General fund?
Some of that money did come out of the general fund from what we had paid from the
Yeah.
township. Some of it came out of the
It-
30.
There's no money that, it doesn't have to come out of the fund. There's no money that is actually being, all it's gonna do is it's gonna affect that bottom line on the budget for 22-23. This is just correcting an area that's, right now is blank and needs to have something in it, so it doesn't come out of a fund. It's a number that's gonna get plugged in.
Yeah, but there should be, then if it's not coming out of a fund, it should be reflected either, well, it's coming out of, if we have that much surplus, what is this? No, okay, well, that's gonna increase our deficit then by that same amount, right?
Yeah, your ending budget at the end is gonna be affected, yes. So that your ending budget is gonna be the same as what your, if you look at your budget where it says the activity is, cause right now this approved budget for 22-23 does not match the activity that was done in 22-23, which is your second column in your budget. So what we're doing is we're getting them so that the two of those match up, so that there isn't any blanks where we spent money.
But what Pat's saying is, where did the money come from to plug into this
This
column?
is from the bond, this is all from the money that we got, from the bond for the new fire station.
Yeah, 'cause we had to include that in the fund balance, which was, if you looked at it, it's, activity is $1.252 million. And that's with the bond, construction bond funds and the millage rate funds and all that stuff that's into that. Then we had to separate out and create different accounts, so we had to do some money shifting of the money that we have here, of the $1.252245 million, and allocate it to that center there.
So this is appropriating those funds from the bond that were in that 405 account that we had it kind of stuck in, and putting it into the correct accounts where they should be now.
Yeah, to the 307 account.
Okay, and this is a revenue, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So wouldn't we need a corresponding, well,
The debt's already there.
okay.
We had the debt account, but we didn't have the 307 expenditure revenue account.
Okay, you just threw me.
All right,
You're saying you're taking the money out of 405 and putting it into these accounts.
That's where we held the money. This is just appropriating it to the correct GL number to coordinate with where
Yeah.
it should be.
So the
But we
40
never put it in the budget last year.
Right, because we
Because we
didn't have
didn't
it.
have the 405, so that's a account that's just sitting out here in La La Land and pulling the
Yes.
money out and putting it in here.
Correct.
I'm with it now.
so you're saying millage, this is millage money?
It's not millage.
It's bond, the
Bond.
bond.
I'm sorry,
Bond
bond, bond,
Yeah,
okay.
So that's why you'll see that there's no activity, nothing is requested for this next year, because that account now will be done.
and it'll be in the rightful accounts, according to the uniform chart of accounts. You know, typically the like a $253.25 amendment typically didn't have to happen, but it went into different new accounts, and the accounts got renumbered and all that.
I'm all set.
Okay, any other discussion? Judy, roll call, please.
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Kramer, yes. Biganowski,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Well, I'm seeing a big hole in this fire department situation, but I'll vote yes for now.
Radke,
I concur with Pat. Same vote, yes.
we don't like it,
Yeah.
but boy, is it a nice building. You'll see on the 28th.
That's not the part I'm worried about.
No, actually, talking with Trent and that, all these,
There's more money coming in if we approve the Cornelli signature resolution.
Yeah.
So we can get the money out of our account to put back in.
That's not gonna get it done. Well, I might be missing something else, so I'll talk about it when we
okay,
get
next
to the
item,
budget.
is the budget public hearing. I'd like to entertain a motion to, open the public hearing for the 23-24 budget at 6:32 PM.
I'll
Moved
second
over.
that, or I'll make it, whichever you.
I'll second Paul's motion.
Biondo did, and I think Wes, did you support it?
Yeah.
No, I will.
Motion made by Biondo, supported by West, to open the public hearing for the 2023-2024 budget, at 6:32. On the table back there, and I think it's been on, the web and everything else, the proposed budget, which is the far right column. What you might have heard us talking about is the far three left columns here this evening, for the budget amendments. But the proposed budget for the 2023-2024 is a far right-hand column. I think there was some placed on the table, and they've been available in the office for the last couple of weeks, in that regards there. So with that being said, is there any member of the public that would like to speak in regards to our 2023-2024 requested budget, proposed budget? Yes, ma'am, please go to the podium. Name and address for the record, please.
Name is Jean Perkins, address is 5829 Crystal Court. Would just like some questions answered on Department 751, which is Parks and Rec. Last year, the budget had approved $300,000 for capital outlay for Parks and Rec. It's on page 9 of my handout, if that helps everybody. I don't know if you have the same one. So last year it was $300,000, and activity to date, we've spent 211, and that leaves 88,000 still out. I don't know maybe if that's getting spent this month or not. But then I see the requested budget for next year is only $25,000 for capital improvements in parks. And I guess my question is, does that 88 roll over or does that just get lost? And I don't know if I can ask questions here, is this?
Yes, you,
Okay.
you may. You may ask questions.
So does that get rolled over, that 88,000 that was not spent this year? Does that stay in the account and continue over?
Do you have anything else in regards to the budget? We can, if we can,
No,
take your slate of questions.
no, my only question is if it does not, the board last year thought it was worth spending $300,000 in capital outlay for Parks and Rec. And it only appears that it's 25,000 this year. And there are a lot of projects, that are still needing to get done at Parks and Rec. So, just, that's my question.
And if I may, I'm not gonna speak on behalf of the board, being that I put this together. The money does not roll over,
Okay?
but I can attest that the capital that was spent would be, what's the anticipated cost for pickleball? 165,000, 185,000, plus the exercise court of 112,000. You know, that, put that up there. We don't need to do, unless you guys do more fundraising for the additional pickleball courts. We got our capital improvements already taken.
Have a different
Right,
run.
but most of the
I'm looking at
pickleball,
a different budget than you guys.
On page 9,
Well, yes, hang on.
I have one more. Here's the deal, there's no time on it, it says 6/8/20.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one should be, tonight is
22.
6/8.
but the 300,000, we allocated that for the capital improvements that we already have in motion.
right, but
And we
you're talking pickleball was one of them, and that really wasn't, I mean, it was
Exercise
about
court.
$10,000 from the board that was spent for that.
But the township will expend all the cost for the construction of the pickleball courts. That's the reason why that 300,000 was in there.
So was there a revenue number, coming in then from that?
Yes, of grants and in-kind donations and that. So when you have money coming in,
Mm-hmm.
you have money going out, so it's gonna be reflective of the incoming and the outgoing, on top of the baseline budget, 25,000.
We've never had a number that big ever
Yeah,
for Parks and Rec.
but we knew that we were gonna do some capital improvements, so we put that money in. And we
Correct.
knew that all but 10,000 would be donations and grants, and if you notice the revenue page, there's some grant monies and some
Okay,
in-kind donations, so we have to account for it, whatever comes in, that it goes out.
okay,
And if it
so,
goes out, we gotta account for it to come in. So if your endeavor, if your group decides, hey, we're gonna do it again,
mhm.
we can sit there, this is just the budget, we can amend the budget saying, okay, we're gonna add another $150,000 because of the cost of that, but we're gonna increase our revenue by $150,000 because of the donations or in-kind services or whatever that is. So that's how that, we have to show every penny.
I
If it goes
understand
out,
that.
we have to show it coming in.
I understand. It was just the 88,000 that wasn't spent as of 6/30. If that just goes away, and where
It
does
goes
that
into
go?
the fund balance, so if there's
Okay.
another project, which
Mhm.
we'll probably tap into that, because we're not gonna expend, all that money, because Elmer's is not there yet,
Yes, we know that.
so.
Okay.
Does that answer
Yes, it does, thank you.
anything else? Any other public comment? Board, staff,
You want us to talk during the public hearing, or you wanna wait till after?
after would be nice to further discussion. I would entertain the motion to close the public hearing on the 2023-2024 budget at 6:39 PM.
You said during the discussion?
So moved.
We got a motion. Support?
Thought Dave did, I think.
Dave?
I did.
Yep. Motion by Biondo, supported by Baganowski to close the public hearing. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Marv, I got a question.
Aye.
How do we vote?
Opposed?
Time, 6:30 to 9.
9. Now, we close the public hearing. Before we take the vote, we close the public hearing. Then it comes back to this board for discussion.
Because the discussion is between open and closed, public hearing.
In public.
That's public
Yes.
discussion? Okay.
That's right.
That's what I was
Public
confused
hearing.
on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we close the public hearing, then we take action.
Then we go,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Public hearing's closed.
I think I get thrown that every year,
Well, we only do it once a year.
so wait for it next year.
So with that being said, we heard the comments, and I believe trustee McDonald has questions.
So you wanna finish off this budget thing? There was 4 items. You wanna take those after the budget discussion?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
Getting back on page 11, under professional and contractual services. Now, we just amended the budget from last year to add $643,110. And next year, we only have 40,000 in there, so are we expected that we're gonna, well, our actual expenditures for this year were $681,000 and $688.
There's a lot of cost built in the fire station.
So, and are we expecting those costs to generally come to an end? All right, so these
They're
aren't
real
our,
fast.
this isn't the cost for our people.
No.
Okay, that
No.
makes, I get it. All right.
Anything else? Mr. McDonald?
No, that was the big worry that I had.
Very good. Trustee West, any comments?
Nope.
Trustee Baginowski? Nope. Trustee Biondo?
Excellent job, executive board. I know you had a lot. I mean, you not only had to change your charter, but also midstream building a fire station and everything else.
That does mean a lot coming from one that did it for several decades. Thank
As he
you.
laughs.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a challenge.
Treasurer Merrick?
I'm good, thank you.
Clerk Kramer?
I'm good, thank you.
I have no additional comments other than, yes, Mr. Biondo, it was a challenging season with this budget. Normally we've, well, historically, we've always received 5 gold stars out of 5 with our audit and with the state of Michigan. This year is gonna be interesting to see how it comes to play out, see how well we did. With that being said, no more discussion in regards to that. So the next items on our agenda would be the resolutions as set forth on our agenda. Resolution 06122023.1 would be the appropriate budgeted funds resolution.
This is the actual passing of the budget.
Nope.
These
gotta
are
get to
the
the-
steps to the actual passing of,
Well, what else is there?
yeah.
This is it.
Yep, those 4, yep.
These
Not
four.
4, it's 1.
No, there's 4.
No, the other ones aren't.
Well, that's a depository and that, so.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 06122023.1.
Support.
Got a motion by Baginowski, supported by Merrick, to adopt resolution 06122023.1. Any discussion? Roll call.
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, Biganowski.
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes, resolution adopted. The next one is resolution 06122023.2, Township Board Meeting Schedule.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 06122023.2.
Second.
We got a motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer, to adopt resolution 06122023.2, Township Board Meeting Schedule. Any discussion?
So we're meeting on Tuesdays?
So Tuesday nights at 5:30.
Wait a minute.
That's the proposal.
All right. Go ahead.
Roll call, please.
McDonald,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Move the resolution
Can I say
06122023.2 adopted. Yes, ma'am.
Even though we're moving the meeting to the next day, leave Thursday as the day that board packets and that.
Yes.
And try to stick to it so it doesn't show up here night of the meetings.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Mhm.
If we kick it one day, we'll be
Yeah.
in the same situation we are now. Depository resolution, 06-122-023.3. This is for the treasurers.
So moved.
Got a motion by Biondo,
Second,
support by West to adopt resolution 06-122-023.3. Any discussion?
Yes, discussion. There's been a few mid-sized banks that have gone bust lately, and look, I mean, the federal government, normally the accounts are only insured up to, I believe it's $250,000. The feds stepped up to stop panic, and they guaranteed everybody's deposits, even if they were way above 250, but there's no guarantee that they're gonna do that next time. So I think it would be very important that we not have any large accounts that are above that insured limit, you know, to move them to a couple different banks to make sure that they're insured in case one of our little local banks is one of the ones that's gonna run into trouble, that all our funds are insured. I guess that's all I got to say.
I've been talking to several banks, and there's a thing called cash management, where all the money goes into one bank, and then it gets distributed through their network of systems to other banks, so it's all under the $250,000 limit. You can also do investments through that, that are all within the guidelines set forth by the state for the townships. So maybe we'll be able to get a little bit better return on our money, and it's easier to manage, so we don't end up with a thing like we've got 8 accounts through 8 different banks, and somehow, right now, there's nobody who can sign for one of them. It'll take one board action to get everybody switched over versus.
I've seen municipalities chase their tail on this and spread it out like that, it's just a nightmare. Remember they had these things called cedars that we were supposed to do that avoided all this in the old days, I don't know, they still exist, but nobody does them.
There's new names, yeah. they're
Well, that
updating
thing that
names.
Andy's talking about sounds ideal,
Yeah.
but we're not doing it yet, right?
Not yet, we're in the process of getting that set up, through, I believe I'm gonna use Huntington, because they got the best, most user-friendly, we've been banking with them for a while.
Any other questions, comments? Yes, I echo Pat's concerns. I mean, the impact they had on Silicon Valley was tremendous. So, start someplace, and we just wanna be proactive rather than reactive.
And one of the concerns I had is in tax season, the tax account will have $5 million sitting in it for 5 days. If that's when that bank goes, that's when we lose that money by using this cash management. The money will go into on paper, into the one account, but then be distributed to the other accounts or other banks, so that it's all insured. The current account, or bank that I use for the tax account does not have that ability. Which scared the crap out of me, quite honestly, when that happened out there in Silicon Valley.
Any other discussion? Not, roll call please, Judy.
Kramer, yes. Biganowski.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yes.
West.
yes,
Merrick.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yeah.
And Radke.
Yes, consider the resolution adopted of 06-122-023.4,
.3.
or point 3, sorry.
Now you can do 4.
Okay, we're gonna look at resolution 06-122-023.4, the investment resolution.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 06-122-2023.4.
second,
It's the same as last year?
Actually, we made the corrections that you guys noted last year. If, the only change on that, if we could change it from the 5:30 PM at the top, at a regular meeting on the resolution.
Oh, yeah.
Change the time by, shift it by half hour.
Jump back time on this one.
Yeah. Any discussion? No, we're at the roll call.
Merrick.
Yes.
Biondo.
Yeah.
McDonald.
Yes.
Biganowski.
Yes.
Kramer, yes. West
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes.
Who made that motion and seconded it?
Kramer and, West.
Okay, the next item on our agenda would be the action on the public hearing of the proposed budget. That includes the wage sheet that's included in your board packet. I think it's on page 83.
What do you wanna do with this?
Adopt the budget. That also includes the wage packet, or the wages that have been derived from the budget into a synopsis sheet.
No, we just did that, the first resolution. We adopted it.
Yes, this is all, it's all gonna be, humor me on that. We'll go with that.
No, I-
Adoption, yeah, that's the way it's gonna work.
I make a motion that we adopt the 23, 24, proposed budget as presented.
Support.
We have a motion by Kramer, supported by Merrick, to adopt the budget for the fiscal year 2023, 2024, effective July 1, 2023. Any discussion?
I just wanna ask one little question. I thought the trustees was gonna be 7%. That was the same as Marv got. How did this 7.2 come about?
You guys voted it in.
7.2, we voted, did we
Mhm.
pick a number, or,
You said that was the average.
So that's the number, because it was gonna be 7%.
right, that was the last
But
I
then you
went
said,
out.
why don't we go with the average, and that's what
Which is
turned out to be
7.2.
7.2.
Okay,
I'm at 7, so.
right, I
But-
thought that's where we were, so, okay,
Nope.
it's fine.
I'm
We
at
went with
2.
That's a good place for you.
I agree, that's why I recommend
Okay,
it.
then, any other discussion?
Just to point out that our fund balance under fire and ambulance is almost gone. It's down, looks like it's down to pretty low, so we need to start keeping a sharp eye on those expenditures, I would think.
I believe Chief Case and I have had this discussion for the last 4 months.
Yeah, but last year we had $1 million fund balance. This year we're looking like it's a lot less.
Yep. So, and, we've been keeping a sharp eye on it.
He gets yelled at every time he comes in with a bill.
With that being said, any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
Yes,
Kramer, yes, and Biganowski.
No, this is not the right way to do it, you guys are doing it wrong again.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
and Radke.
Yes. Motion carries 6-1. We'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which would be new business. Speaking of spending fire money.
Wow, I should have put that in a different spot, sorry.
Chief Case, anything to add to this?
I don't, besides, I just wanted to reiterate for Pat that the previous 2 budget years, we did put 400,000 into capital, so knowing that we were gonna have some expenditures, so yes, I'm keenly aware of where we're at budgetary wise and researching other grant sources and finances, so duly noted.
I mean, I like to give you guys what you want.
I understand.
There's gotta be money there to do that.
Understand totally. And this was, and I kind of put that in the letter, I was shocked that the DNR did not fund the 50% on this. And talking to other fire chiefs in our region, none of them got this grant this year, so it will be written again next month, to do it again, cause we'll have some additional sets that we need to replace too.
Because this set's replacing D&Ds.
Doug's and Chris's, which
Oh,
are
Chris.
legacy gear from the rural days, but there's a NFPA compliance standard, which is 10 years expiration on those. So luckily, they haven't been worn out before then, but that's what this is.
Very good.
I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase of the turnout gear as proposed by Chief Case.
Second,
Motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer, to authorize the purchase of turnout gear as recommended by Chief Case.
That's not to exceed $6,500.
Not to exceed $6,500. Is that firm enough for you, Ms. Kramer?
mm-hmm.
Any discussion?
That's 2 cents?
Yes.
That's a pretty good deal, considering we were paying $4,500 a set before. Good job, Chief Case.
It's from China?
It's for D.
Anything else? Roll call it, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Motion adopted. Spend wisely, Chief Case. Next item is the Saxony account resolution for Cornelia Funds, Resolution 06-122-023.5.
I'll make a motion, we adopt resolution 06-122-023.5, so we can get the Saxony money to put back into the fire account for you, Pat.
Second?
We got a motion by Merrick, supported by Pat,
Yep.
or McDonald, my apologies, to adopt resolution 06-122-023.5. Any discussion?
Yes. I don't understand what it's about.
We have money in a bank account, none of us can sign for it, so we can't get it, and Saxony wants us to do this resolution so they can give us our money.
I thought we took care of all of that.
We made a motion, but
Right.
Made a motion,
we
but
didn't have authorized signers on the account, because they retired or didn't run again.
So that money's just been sitting there,
Mm-hmm.
and the fire department's been dependent on it, and they've made plans to, I don't know what they're buying, but furniture or something. And when somebody went to get that money, nobody could get it from this board.
Correct.
correct.
Does
Yeah.
that sound familiar to you, Dave?
I mean, this is just a hoop that some bureaucrat's making us jump through, so we've already appropriated the money, we've already spent it, allocated it 3 times, I think, actually.
And we made a we made a motion last
So
month.
this is like authorizing one of us to sign it, so it's just a BS, but let's do
Yes.
it.
All right,
Here, no other discussion, roll call it.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, West,
yes.
and Radke.
Yes, motion carries 7-0. Next item is zoning ordinance amendment 23-003, text amendment. That's found on page 87 of your packet. I would move to approve the adoption of zoning ordinance amendment 23-003 as recommended by the planning commission.
I'll
All
support.
4 items, all 4 items.
Yes. We have a motion by Radke, supported by Merrick. Discussion.
Yes.
Pat, are you ready?
I don't know, I might need help on this one.
Okay. Sherry, go ahead.
I was waiting for him to explain it. The very bottom of the page there, building area. I'm wondering why steps and awnings and non-permanent canopies are included in it. It used to all be excluded, and why, when you come up with this, you're putting it all in to use it as the building area?
I think it was, the thought is just to match it with the definition up a little bit higher under, the definition of building includes all those things. And I think the zoning administrator was looking for some consistency.
I don't like it.
What's that? Okay.
Move to postpone.
You want to think about it some more? I don't have a problem with that.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot going on.
I'm looking for an
Budget.
explanation, and you want to postpone this?
What's that?
I said I was looking for an explanation, and you want to postpone this?
Yeah, I think I'd like the workshop. The wording?
Okay, I'm with you there, because there's another, I'll quit on it.
There's a motion by Biondo to,
We got a
We already
motion
got a
on the
motion
table.
floor.
But he,
oh,
You
yeah,
can-
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's right, Radke Merrick, my
Radke.
I
apologies.
withdraw.
Any other discussion?
Uh,
Apparently we've heard two.
I got an issue with number 1, but I don't have an issue with 2, 3, and 4, so I'd like to proceed with 2, 3, and 4.
I got an issue with two, though.
Do you?
What is your issue with
Yeah.
one?
Same with Paul. It's a back ass.
So what do you, 2, 3, and 4, what are you referring to?
Item numbers that are on the sheet paper in front of you.
Oh, I got zoning administration. Planning commission
I
document.
have a lot of this, Jeff.
Oh,
The text amendment has 4 items under it.
I got it now.
yeah. So I'm in item 1 with my issues then.
Okay, on this, I think I've heard it.
Well, 3 and 4 are kind of no-brainers, I would.
Alicia, 1 and 2, could you give us a brief overview to complement Pat's statements?
Lack
Building
of-
and building area, the definitions are straight out of the ordinance as they exist today from the 2006 version. The only changes were removing trailers without wheels, and then instead of exclusive, including, so they match. The language isn't new. That's for number 1. And number 2?
Yes, please, number 2.
So we have many non-conforming structures that encroach, particularly on setbacks, and the idea was to try and eliminate the requirement to go for a zoning board of appeals variance on those that already encroach if they are projecting along the existing building wall, not going any further into the setback area, or if they're going to build a deck that doesn't encroach any further than the building. This is to allow staff to approve those.
What you just explained, number 1, is the exact opposite of what it actually says. You explained it wrong. Because it used to be exclusive, meaning you didn't count it. Now you add the word including, so you do count it. So it's a 180-degree change.
Well, building said it one way, and the building area made it exclusive, or excluding that. So now they've changed the definition of building area to reflect the building. A building is,
No, but
attached deck said building is porches, a building is,
well, not as it's written here, the definition of building. If that's the full definition of building, it doesn't have porches and decks on there.
yep,
It says
third
attached
line, fourth from the end.
Attached porches. I mean, I can double my footprint with pavers under this definition.
On patio, I don't see a patio.
It's actually under building area.
Patios, yeah.
First
There it
word
says
in the
patios,
third
steps,
sentence.
awnings, and non-permanent canopies. 'Cause that non-permanent canopies was the issue we just had down here on Riley Road. And the deck extension is down here on J. Matty Parkway, along with a couple other ones. So we're trying to shore them up, so, we don't have to sit there and send them to other commissions, but, okay. Thank you. We have a motion by Radke, supported by Merrick, to adopt zoning ordinance amendment 23-003. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Biondo,
No.
West,
No,
Creamer, yes. Biganowski,
No,
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald,
Killing me here.
You voted yes in the planning
voted in the
commission.
planning commission to bring it here.
No.
And Radke.
Yes. Motion fails.
I'll make a motion that we adopt items 2 through 4 in this zoning ordinance amendment.
We have a motion by Meganowski to adopt items listed under ZOA 23-03, listed as 2, 3, and 4. Is that correct, Dave?
Yes?
Is there support?
I'll support Dave, and then I got a question for you.
Okay, we have a motion by Meganowski, supported by West. Any discussion, Sherry?
Look at number 4, and they went and they replaced for all other design standards. Shouldn't they have taken the whole thing out? What's the use of that? I couldn't find a,
Alicia, could you further define the highlight red versus the existing?
So where it says for all other design standards, that's the title of the column. It's just the title of the column that the change is being made to
In the ordinance.
in the existing ordinance.
oh, okay. I don't have
So we went from 14 to 19 feet wide.
19 is what it
Yes,
says.
I was looking at the fire chief when I said that. Industry standards 14, but, okay. Anything else, Sherry?
it. No,
Pat?
Just on number 2, so you have a non-conforming structure. This is saying you can make it wider outside of the footprint. So is there, would it be immune from the side yard setbacks?
No, you just can't encroach into the setbacks any closer than the existing facade of the building. Walls of the building, well, now, which includes eaves. Closer to any setback line, be it front, sides, rears.
so if you're setting with a building and the back corner is setting on the lot line, roughly, where it's encroaching, and all you have is a porch there, you could go down that whole building with a extension of the porch or the building?
Well, it depends on item number 1, the building definition. Which was gonna be discussed apparently later.
Well, I know, I was on ZBA for a lot of years,
Yes.
and you'd go
Thank you.
out to a place and they'd wanna add like maybe a greenhouse off the side of their house, so they'd take a 10-foot thing and they'd encroach into the setback 5 feet, okay? Now, is this saying that if that's been okayed and they go and they upgrade that house, then they can go that whole lot line? Because sometimes it's okay for them to do a little bit back here on the lot line, but we don't want it up here because maybe this house is closer up here or something. Is that what this is saying?
Yes.
I think
Yes.
I got it now. I think it's saying that you can, the front of your building, if it sticks out, you know, if it's further back, it's not as wide. I think this is saying you can bring the further back part out to the same distance as what's in the front.
That means you can encroach more on the setbacks.
At the ground level, if you got a overhang coming out
You're not
18
encroaching
inches.
more, you're just more area depth,
Right.
length.
Or if you've got a deck built and you wanna put a sunroom on top of it, you'd be able to do that, but currently we've had some that come in front of the ZBA for adding on to an existing deck to put, I think, a screen room, if I remember right.
In essence, yes, I think, but they can only go to the existing width of the building facade. They can't go the whole distance. The building facade meaning drawing a line from the eaves straight down,
Right.
and that's the building facade, if I read this correctly. Depending on which definition I read.
Alicia, is that correct?
Yeah, so they can't just continue on forever, sorry. If this is your house, and you've got a little piece that sticks out here, they can shore it up to the edge of here. They can't start going over here. It's only along what already exists.
You could use 2 pages to say that, so this may be a little ambiguous a little bit. I mean, the building codes is gonna do the same thing when they you leave an original wall, that kinda stuff like that.
Exactly, leave your
That's the
corner
concept, it's just, you
block.
wanna do it with 3 paragraphs or 1.5 sentence?
Any other discussion on those? Motion made by Bagnowski, supported by West for ZOA 23-003, 2, 3, and 4. Any other discussion? If not,
Does the removal of item 1 cause problems with the adoption of the other ones?
no, not really. I mean, it's our,
Okay.
I'm sorry, Alicia?
Should be an
Okay.
administration of
I
it,
just wanted to make sure that we weren't creating a whole new slew of problems by not adopting the whole thing that the planning commission spent, if I remember right, quite a bit of time on.
With that, roll call, please.
McDonald,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Motion carries.
Is item one fixable, Dave? Or is it too far gone, gotta bring it back?
No, just don't do it.
Okay, hearing no other motions, we'll move on to the next item. Fee refund request, Lakeview Drive. There was a series of unfortunate events that transpired along with some zoning amendments that were in process. We put this individual through, a lack of a better term, gave him a rough time. And when in essence and everything fell out, there was no need for the request to begin with for this variance. So it was highly recommended that we refund the individual's money that he submitted for a variance that he didn't need a variance for.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by McDonald, supported by West to
I understood it before you explained it.
refund pursuant to the zoning administrator's request for the individual on Lakeview Drive.
So he applied for a variance.
Really
He didn't need the variance.
by the time everything was said and done on action on that variance.
Okay.
I mean, technically, the dude should have withdrawn his request and got his money back. But he went through the whole CBA process, and they processed it. That's on him, not us. Should
Well-
have withdrawn his application. That's how,
Well, we were,
would have been a problem, he would have got a refund, and wouldn't even come to the board. So
But
now you,
we told him that he had to up until directly after the ZBA hearing.
it's somewhere you told him, it was fence, whatever, these things, if it's under 200 square feet, that was passed, we did that months ago.
Right, but this
Years
was before
ago.
that.
Yeah.
What?
This was before that.
No, he applied before that, but the ZBA didn't hear it before that. They heard it after that. That's why they denied it.
No, they heard it before we voted on it.
So, the action was taken, so we have in essence, it was a township's
Mistake.
yeah, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Between the ZBA and the zoning and the amendments, we have a motion support.
This was brought forth by the zoning administrator, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
McDonald,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yeah.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is the Interlochen DDA budget. It's been worked on and worked on and worked on, and it's in a format that, is reviewable by the township.
Who worked on it?
The
DDA?
DDA and, Mary Jo, put it into a format that resembles our budget proposals.
So do we just have to receive and file it, or do we have to approve
We
it?
have to
You
approve
have to
it.
prove it.
Okay. I make a motion we approve the Interlochen DDA proposed budget for 2023, 2024 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Merrick, supported by Kramer to approve the Interlochen DDA proposed budget 2023-2024. Any discussion?
Yes.
I can touch on the highlights. The community promotion was increased from 5,500 to 15,000. That basically refers to our annual contribution to the winter light show.
Light up Interlochen?
It was a little more than of a jump than I was in favor of, but I mean, it's just a budget amount. We're not necessarily gonna spend that, the whole 15,000.
So tell me, that was put on by the DDA last year, the lights down there at Tom's?
No, it's put on by the chamber, but every year we've been kicking in
To the chamber?
5,500 towards the expenses.
Hmm.
And then the two $75,000 budget items are both trail related. That's kind of our main project right now. And I guess some of that might be for grant, you know, required grant matches. I guess capital expenditure would be actual investment in the trail. We did just, State Park, has completed their rough draft of our easement and just sent that out last week. I didn't wanna give the board members a copy because I didn't think you'd want it that quickly at this late hour. So probably next month it'll be in our packet.
That was a state park?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And then the final, we're waiting for the Center for the Arts to sign their second easement, which would complete our legal rights to the trail, and that would take it from the crosswalk down to the school. And they have the copy, and it's been adjusted, so hopefully we're just waiting for signatures on that. But, so yeah, that 75 is all trail stuff.
Sherry, you have any other questions?
Yeah, first off, proposed needs to be changed to 2023, 24 up in the upper right-hand corner. That
Oh.
needs to be corrected. And then, I kinda didn't like down there where they paid the township back. I think, shouldn't that be, for what it was for? Cause it really wasn't a payment to the township, it was paying for their portion of the sculptures. So it really shouldn't be a payment to the township.
Capital expenditure?
Well, it's just number 26. Where it
Yeah,
is.
I understand.
Yeah, it should have been a capital expenditure or something. It wasn't a payment to the township, because I don't know how the township would account for it. It's
So you
you
wanna-
guys paying us.
So put that back up into,
That's really not part of, well,
That's part of the previous year's budget.
yeah, that's not, well, that's actual.
Right, that was your actual.
yeah, we're not
expense.
proposing
But
anything.
you're not doing anything with that,
We're
all that
looking
you're
at the
doing
last
is
column,
approving
right?
23, 24.
Good.
You're right, it should have probably been under capital expenditure instead of payment to township, but.
Yeah, because you didn't
Yeah.
pay,
Well, we're not budgeting anything, the DDA hasn't budgeted anything for that, for the 23-24 budget.
well, then, let's go back and you guys didn't budget anything for that capital expenditure.
No, it was a surprise.
Just like at the town board level.
Yeah,
Didn't
well,
expect
we
it in
have,
the past.
we had money floating that would do it,
Yeah,
so.
and, you know, they didn't go over the budget center, so.
It could go under economic development, I think also, which we did budget 80,000
Yeah,
for.
that would probably be a good spot,
Okay, we can adjust that. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll move that up 2 lines at 24.
That looks good to me.
So noted, Mary Jo? Thank you. Any other questions? Thought I heard Dave, yeah.
Well, you guys left that rental income line on number 5. You guys bought them little hut things. You never rented them out for anything ever?
Well, we're allowing the chamber to use them at no charge. Figured it's a community. They store all their Christmas decorations in there. They got a grant for like 80 grand, and they bought all the additional light show stuff, and it takes up quite a bit of space now, so these 2 cabinets are filled with all that stuff.
I mean, these weren't apple fence sheds. These were fancy sheds, and little artists were supposed to have these little cozy little things in there, and people would, you know, come and
COVID.
buy their little rocks and stuff.
Not everything works out. I mean, they still have value. We could,
I know, we
the
spent a lot
chamber
of money on
didn't,
it. You guys sold us on those things, now we're using them for storage sheds. It's a little,
if the chamber didn't need them, we would sell them.
Yeah, and, well,
having never been used.
There was one event 3 years ago, then COVID hit.
yeah.
But they look cute.
The light up interlocking, the chamber has, with the monies and the grants and the addition of additional equipment, they are gonna parlay it across the street now to the west side. Yeah,
And run over the extension cord.
You're gonna have them both sides now?
yes, that is the goal.
Somebody needs to tell them to, get it out to the public, who's sponsoring that actually? Because I was real surprised when Pat just says that the chamber sponsored it. I listened to a radio station, and I thought they were sponsoring it, that had the music go with it.
The
and that.
chamber is spearheading it.
They
They
received some
spearheaded
grants.
at a time where they didn't have a whole lot of funds, so they approached the DDA. And the DDA said, yes, please, it's gonna enhance, promote, et cetera, et cetera. And ever since then, they've been receiving donations and, well, when they receive more money, let's spend more. So they're gonna extend, cause Rory Baker is the president of the chamber.
Hmm.
And, he approached and said that that's what their goal is, to extend it to the west side of, J. Matty.
That'll be nice.
Yeah. So any other discussion? We had a motion by
Mayor.
Merrick,
Merrick,
supported by Kramer.
Kramer, to adopt the Interlochen DDA budget. Roll
Is
call,
it-
please.
Biganowski,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you. The next item, Interlochen Downtown Development Association, there was some discussion on membership, I believe at the previous meeting and that.
Three resignations last time, right? We accepted
They
three.
resigned a while back, but, so Pat and I went out, we were knocking on some doors, and it's very challenging to get volunteers, just so you know. But we do, we do have two individuals, and I believe, Pat checked into one, that one individual, I can't even pronounce his last name. Federal or whatever.
F-E-D-W-A.
Yeah, Fedewa.
Biedema.
Fedewa. My apologies, sir.
I wasn't even gonna try.
He was gracious enough, cause he listened to last month's meeting, and that inspired him. So he put pen to paper, okay, keyboard to email, but,
Looks like some writing.
yeah. So included the application and stuff into the board packet. And I'd like to recommend that we appoint, Mr. Fedewa and Ms. Brooks to fill the two empty spots on our DDA.
Second.
Dave made a motion? Or no
You
question?
made a motion, she seconded it.
I made a motion.
Yeah, you
and
said to
Wes-
point,
yep.
yeah, I second.
Any
I think
discussion?
they're both good.
Discussion. I think we should get Ms. Brooks to fill out the form.
She did.
She did.
Yeah, she did.
It's in there.
Application for DDA Authority
That's
Board.
right there.
Right here, Dave.
Oh, yeah, right. Double-sided.
Which,
All,
which two slots, which two members' spots are they taking?
Terms,
Oh, yeah.
I think we have three.
we have two openings.
well, they'd go for the terms with the most left on them.
Yes, because we took Adrian, well, the other terms expired. Those terms are all since expired.
We're
so now-
staggered, though, we gotta stay in the same staggering scheme, or else
Yes.
we're gonna get screwed up.
No, us.
Yeah, because Adrian took Lance's spot. So these two would take Robin's and Harold's spot. And their terms hence expired in 22, so three, be 2025.
Do you guys, you said you guys wanted to reach out to them. Did you get a chance to contact them?
They're done.
Okay.
So terms expiring,
So the motion is that they accept the longest two remaining terms.
yes,
Okay,
the
so that's
June,
fine.
3-year terms,
yes.
3-year terms.
Well, I think technically they're supposed to finish out Robin and Harold's terms before.
Their terms expired in 22.
Oh. That takes care of that part.
So they're done already.
Yeah.
Good job, Pat.
Yeah, I think they expired, November of 22. July of 22, sorry. I was just reading through my
I
notes.
think Marv did it right, even though they're unfilled terms, they're still terms.
Yeah,
Right.
so July 2025, with their terms expiring.
That's it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries 7-0.
Welcome
The background
aboard.
check comes back.
Welcome,
Thank
welcome,
you.
welcome
Thank you.
aboard.
Yes. The next item is the foreclosed property on White Birch Drive, Grand, Michigan.
I'll make a motion, we do not accept this parcel or take action on this parcel.
I'll second Andy's.
We have a
Especially
motion by
what the
Merrick,
courts
supported
just
by
did.
West, to not acquire the property in White Birch Drive.
Especially what the courts just did, and they're gonna cost townships and counties money with the new
Yeah.
minimum bid.
What is this, vacant?
No, there's a house.
There's a house on this? Can't be.
Well, maybe it is vacant.
I didn't go out look at it.
Is that?
It's
Yeah.
wet.
We
It's
got a lot of
vacant
land.
wet. And, you know, and we're always offered first choice of,
Right.
of acquisition. So this is, we receive these every year. So we have a motion by Merrick, supported by West,
It
to,
used to be, we had a restriction, we don't have it anymore, right? What purpose it could be put to after we buy it.
yes, we'd have to designate what purpose it is. If not, it'd be a taxable piece of property that we'd have to pay taxes on.
Yeah.
And we can't do nothing with it, so why would we acquire it? I mean, we
We got a
could.
mobile home a couple years ago.
Yeah, and that went to, the housing task force people there, land bank authority.
It's bad. Oh, I guess the rules are changing, and now, instead of just getting this for what's owed for the taxes, that we might be looking at our SEV on it, which would still be a pretty good bargain, from what I can tell. And we could have considered buying it and maybe offering it to the Duck Lake Peninsula people to, you know, enhance, they've got a community launch there, maybe they could park their overflow parking or something, but if this, I didn't get a chance to go over there, if it's wet, doesn't sound very attractive.
Their mosquitoes were pretty big, so, I mean, that's what they got parking spots there for.
If they change the rules and you have to pay the SEV, can you buy and sell it for a profit? Or does that still stay the same?
No, if they
I'm not
eliminated it.
familiar with that details at this point in time,
Okay.
but I know if we buy it for 500, we better sell it for. And if we're gonna sell it, we gotta put it up for bids, and the bids exceed 500, then we're in
The
trouble.
person who got foreclosed on has to jump through a bunch of hoops, which this person wouldn't, so that wouldn't happen to this one. It's not worth it.
Yeah. So we have a motion, any other discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Motion carries.
A yes was a no.
Correct. The Township Holiday Observation Policy Employee Handbook has been amended to include an additional day.
If we follow along with Grand Traverse County, which is what I'm proposing that we do, there is some confusion. The holidays that we work versus Grand Traverse County, if we've got to send each other to each other's, either the township or the county, our residents seem to be getting confused. If we're open and they're not, blah, blah, blah.
Too bad.
This would give us 3 holidays. It would add Martin Luther King, President's Day, and Juneteenth.
The
Are
3
these-
extra holidays? Well, the county does that because the city, which is woke, did that, and they share the building. So I have no intention of voting for anything like that. So I'm a no.
Okay. And this is just not the county. I think Long Lake and Blair have adopted the county schedule as well.
East Bay Township
Oh,
and
East Bay.
Peninsula too.
Peninsula. Okay.
This
Okay.
motion is to adopt the county's holidays as ours, so if they change theirs, ours changes
Why
as well,
would we
correct?
ever care about what they're We never did before, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Did we,
And we
Well,
are,
if you're being prejudiced to your employees.
Yes, I was just enlightened,
to your
What
employees?
Juneteenth
It's
was.
a pretty good package right now.
and a DEI program. It was just diversity, equity,
Inclusion.
inclusion. Yes, it's a new term I'm learning on how to operate at the public level.
And there's times we need to communicate with the county, when a resident comes in to call them to get the answers for our
Well,
residents.
that's what the next day's for.
So
Not the best customer service
Okay.
that way, though.
Well, we're the service provider.
And if we
They're a
can't-
service provider for another issue, so.
But if I have to call the county on taxation stuff, and the county treasurer isn't there to answer the questions, I'm able to answer our residents' questions that come into us when we're open. As an example.
Well, maybe we should be open more. 5 days a week.
Great, when are you gonna come in and cover your shift? I think we should start next week. All
Alright,
4 of you.
I'm done.
Good.
Granted, you know, some of us are here on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays anyways.
And nights and weekends. I'm just bringing it forward, it was brought to my attention. I'll make the motion that we, change our handbook to follow the, schedule of Grand Traverse County for our holiday observation days.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have a motion by Kramer, supported by Merrick. I'm having a hard time spelling your name, Andy.
WRO.
To adopt, the holiday schedule,
To coincide with Grand Traverse County
yes, to coincide with Grand Traverse
and
County.
other townships.
And other townships.
Well, you better pick one.
I'll support just Grand Traverse County.
Grand Traverse County, cause that's what they're following.
Okay, we have a motion, any discussion? Well, by golly, I'm thinking we're gonna want a roll call on this one.
McDonald,
No.
Kramer, yes. West,
No,
Biondo,
I think not, no.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski,
H, no.
and Radke.
Yes, motion fails. Next item is the 2023 Christmas holiday office hours. Historically, we've waited until November, and maybe even as far as December, to do what we've historically done is between Christmas and New Year's. So we're gonna bring it out forward in July, Christmas in July, adoption. At a
Or June.
meeting. At a June meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion by Biondo, supported by
Merrick.
Merrick,
Wait, let's propose. I didn't see any proposal.
close between Christmas and New Year's.
Oh,
And, yes. With clerk coming in,
We will work
Oh,
out the
no,
dates.
one of the board members is coming in that day. We're taking that day off. I heard him say it.
With,
So which one of you guys doing payroll and accounts payable?
I don't know
we
if I
don't
want
have
Paul
any
doing payroll.
paychecks.
we have any other discussion? Oh, roll call this one.
Biganowski,
What is this one on again?
Christmas,
Okay, thanks.
Christmas in June. Biganowski,
I'm gonna vote yes this time, but at some point, we're gonna stop doing this, once we get more staff.
West,
Yes,
Biondo,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
McDonald.
yeah.
Kramer, yes, and Radke.
Yes, motion carries.
can we go on with Dave's comment? I have to agree with you that it's time we do change it.
We only did it because there's nobody around, there's only like 4 people.
And yeah, and time they
So,
took their
Everybody's gonna
extra
take their
days
vacation
and
then
that,
anyway,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
There's
But at
nobody
some
in the
point,
office,
we
so
need to tell them, no, you can't take your vacation, we're gonna split this, I mean, that's what bigger organizations do, they don't just fold up and go home.
Well, you got New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and they all seem to correlate. Anyway, so every couple of years, we're closed anyways, for that period of time. But anyways, next. Yes, I agree, Sherry, we'll keep an eye on that at this point in time. Because we're in it, some of us are in there anyways. Next item is the John
not this year.
Hancock contribution.
Yeah, we didn't get anything on that, how come?
Yeah, last page,
Yes.
10 to 12%.
Oh, my goodness. I missed that.
I
I'm
do understand
sorry.
these other townships are doing that, and is to attract employees, especially in the EMS side,
Attract and retain.
Yeah,
so,
well, we are on the light side.
you know.
We've been light for several years, we just held
Keeping
off,
up with the
held off.
Joneses, I guess you could call it.
Mm-hmm. Well, not quite. Getting closer to the Joneses.
And with this cost being said and done, I did run some numbers today, with Andy being there, and it was an impact to the whole budget 22,500?
40. We added the two together. 22 for one
and
and
the
18.
11.
Oh, 4,
Remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
because we typed the wrong number. That's
Yes.
right. Okay, yes.
Right, and that's the difference between 10% and 12%.
Mhm.
Yeah, the 2% variable.
I'll make a motion that we make the change from the retirement contribution rate from 10% to 12% for all township employees.
I'll second it.
That was Merrick and supported by Biondo.
Yes.
I'm trying to make a note to reflect. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
West,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Biondo,
Yes.
Merrick,
Yes.
Biganowski,
Yes.
Kramer's gonna say no. Radke,
No, motion carries. Next item on our agenda is discussion. Motion carries, 5-2. Discussion. Anybody have any discussionable items? I do want to bring, to light, something we can think on for the future. Is currently our type 1 well system was downgraded by Eagle a couple years back against my request to keep it type 1. So we just got it recertified to a type 1 well for public water, potable use. And now we are working with the state to extend a water main to, what's the name of the Hudson Development, Fun Country. Working with the chief to ensure that there's enough supply for fire suppression, hydrants, et cetera. And once that gets extended over there, there's gonna be some additional extensions happening, I foresee. And once we hit a certain level of, I forget how many users, 120 users, we're gonna have to have a water storage container, whether it's above ground, in ground, split, or something of that nature there. We have a pretty good fund balance in the water account at this point, but with the prices of steel going up, I don't anticipate there's gonna be, we're gonna have to be looking for some grants to extend that, so.
Well, we need
Just
dirt.
food for thought. No, we could actually use Bicentennial Park.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, we got that all cleared up. That's free use.
So there's place up there if we have to put a tank in?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's just something I wanna keep abreast as we start developing that corridor, adding, we're adding what, 4 8-plexes and a 24 lot residential there. And that's gonna be it's not gonna be built prior to adding a center turning lane on that, in front of them. So the traffic would be negated, for the most part in that respect. But just food for thought that it's coming.
Can you address that same development in the septic system for them? Are they gonna be all on-site
Yes,
septic?
all on-site, engineered fields.
On that piece of property up there?
Yes,
Hmm,
yes. Unless we wanna venture into,
the septic business,
Sewer.
well, that's a lot of development to have that on-site too.
yeah. So we're working with GFA and Gosling Zubek on the design with oversight by Eagle.
What? GFA and Gosling are working together?
Well, they're forced to, yes. Gosling on the developer's aspect, GFA on our aspect, the Eagle overseeing both aspects.
Wow.
Is that making sense now? Sorry. So,
That'll take a year.
with that being said, any other discussion?
Oh,
Pat?
just playing around with an idea. The Mouse House is apparently a very ancient house. I thought, it's possible we could turn that into a little township historical museum. Maybe get a historical society going too, and, you know, we could dig out some of the oldest township documents and,
They're in there.
I mean, for display, not just for storage.
Let the public find them, they just pile them.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, before, you know, we move down the road of just tearing it down, that, you know, maybe we should consider turning it into a, you know, like Benzonia's got a pretty good little history building
We
there.
just eliminated the bathroom facilities, which should be required to open to the public.
Hmm?
We just removed all the bathroom facilities by crushing that big field.
Well, we can put a porta
Put a
potty out there.
portage on it.
That qualifies for, wow.
Well, we can run pipe and hook into our, somebody's got a system there. We do it.
Library, that runs in front of it and alongside of it.
Yeah.
EMS has it behind us. So, yeah.
Or maybe just the township be open, we could send them up people over there if they got
We
it.
could move it down to the, park down there by the water tower, have the whole building moved down there, put in a decent one. Yeah.
Nothing money can't take care of. Yes, okay, that's a point of discussion. Work on that and look at the programming of it. Any other discussion? Now we're back to public comment. I see the young one was all playing. We're good at
I
that.
totally get it.
We're
We're good
bad.
at that. But with that being said, any public comment? Please, same rules apply as the first period. Hearing none, it looks like we're ready for adjournment at 7:41. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
McDonald, supported by Biondo, to adjourn this meeting at 7:41 PM. Any discussion? Oh, it's non-discussionable, sorry. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Andy?
No. I'm so glad I can do that now.
Motion carries 6-1. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.